Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jul. I'm here again. Hold on a second. Stand by while I try to... Facebook keeps doing that thing. Please turn your camera. Turn your camera. And no matter what direction I turn it in, it tells me to turn it again. So I do a full 360, and I'm still need to turn it. Anyways, okay, I think I'm good now. Whew. What's up? It is, I don't know, Friday. And, oh, hey, guess what? Today is Friday, I think. I can't keep track with the quarantine, but it is my 1 week anniversary of this webcast, Out of Your Comfort Zone. That's the name of it. And I'm proud of the fact of how far I've progressed in just 1 week. That's thanks to you guys for being supportive and allowing me to just be my authentic self and let this webcast evolve naturally and organically, instead of just what I would normally do is be really stringent and disciplined and have things mapped out detail by detail, and then that just kind of, anyways, that wouldn't be the authentic me. That would be the professional me, as as I've said, and you see in my description and everything, as a professional entertainer and broadcaster and performer. Everything is perfect. I go out of my way to make things perfect. I'm a perfectionist, OCD about it, and make sure when I'm playing music, every note is correct and perfect. Every everything is mapped out. And in doing that, it just it puts a lot of pressure on me, of course, and it's I end up sacrificing myself and my health just so I can make things perfect, so I can have success. So Out of Your Comfort Zone, I started this webcast a week ago today to learn how to be more accepting of myself as an imperfect person, as just Julie. So you can read more about it in the description, so let me move on. So first of all, I want to point this out. My awesome shirt. See you later. Okay. And it's supposed to be funny, not negative. But it's the Grim Reaper, right? Shit just cracks me up. So I've got this really macabre and dark sense of humor and inappropriate sense of humor. So I laugh about shit I shouldn't laugh at. But it's funny anyways. So I do. All right. So my 1 week anniversary. Yay. So I want to start out. I decided now that I'm going to do drop some knowledge on you, some words of wisdom to open and close my webcast every day. So today it's I love philosophy and positive quotes, and today's is one that I've latched onto my whole life. That's kind of kept me going through horrible times and when through bullying, neglect, and living a life of a cycle of trauma and abuse, and finding something positive to hold on to. So it's Confucius. Our greatest glory is never falling, but in rising every time we fall. So think about that for a bit. And we'll come back to it a little bit later before we close the webcast. Part of being, I've always been I felt like I was an underdog. I've always felt ostracized from everybody else, from the rest of the world. And I want to say that, being the underdog and knowing that, that's a true sense of courage and success, is to be the underdog, to know that you've got the whole world stacked against you, but you keep going regardless. You keep trying new things. You keep building and evolving and growing despite all the haters and the people and the things that are in your life that try to slow you down. For me, I always pictured it as a horse pulling a buggy, with the blinders on. The blinders keep the horse from being distracted and focusing his vision on forward. So that's how I've kind of always looked at it, is that I have the blinders on to keep myself from being distracted by the obstacles and the bullshit and the haters and all that stuff, and just keep moving forward towards my purpose, my path, my goal. Because like a lot of creatives, and a lot of people, I had a calling since I can remember, like 3 or 4 years old. I knew what my path was. And it's been a struggle, not because of me not knowing what to do or where to go, but because of all the obstacles and the people involved who don't want you to have that success. So, it's just, it's been a struggle. So that's part of what this webcast is about. Me understanding that. And, and the way I feel about it is if God put a dream in your heart to follow, then that's what you're supposed to do. No matter what. It doesn't matter, what other people say, what other people think, or whether you can make it or not, or whatever. It's just about, following your heart and doing what you're supposed to do, because you wouldn't have that dream or that thought or any of that stuff if it wasn't meant for you. Does that make sense? So I just want to leave you with a little bit of that as we start off. And the other part I'm adding in here is checking in with myself. And I want us to do that together. So with every webcast, after, I want to be able to check in. And by, for some people that's meditation or yoga. For me, meditation's really hard right now because of still, if I don't keep my brain focused on something, then it starts going off into really dark, terrible places, and it starts that plummet, that free fall into that bottomless, empty, dark pit and of negativity, and I can't get out. So for me, checking in with myself is just taking some time to look inside of myself, to connect with my emotions and my thoughts the best I can. Sometimes it's not always possible, but I do what I can. So right now, like earlier this morning, I was feeling pretty good. I did a cast earlier. Hey Rodney, what up, yo? Hey bro, it's been a while. How's it going? How's it going there in KC? How's your team going? Dude, you're the best. So hey, what up to Rodney and KC? What was I talking about? So I'm checking in so earlier today I was doing okay. I did a brief webcast, no music, just talking about something that happened yesterday. And you can find it as well, on here. But, as the day goes on, things kind of get harder and worse. And, my brain starts going to those dark places that I don't want it to go. And it's, it's really difficult to stay focused and stay positive. Some mornings I wake up, before, it's just before I even open my eyes, there's, a trauma or, the trauma in my head that's already started spinning and started going through, the scenes and the events. And that's before I even open my eyes. And at that point, it's like I know the day is kind of doomed because there's not a whole lot I can do aside from just like stay medicated and keep myself distracted as best I can, because otherwise it's just this place where I can't fit around it. And I described it earlier, like remember in Ghostbusters too, the river of ectoplasm, negativity under the streets of New York in the old subway tunnels, and it was just wall to wall of this negativity. That's kind of how it's how it is for me sometimes. When with these traumas, they kind of pop up, and there's no way for me to wedge myself in there and to redirect my energy or do what I need to do. It just ends up being this horrible river of shit, and I don't know how to get out of it. So today's been okay. Like I said, I started going to that negative place a little bit earlier than normal. Usually it's late in the afternoon, but it started a couple hours ago. So I'm trying to just move past that. And again, this is something I would like all of us to do together, we check in with ourselves, during the webcast, and however that works for you or makes sense for you, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love for you to do it. So I also wanted to talk about, all right, funny story. Okay. This is, of course, tied into everything. It's part of what I'm learning to do is to not freak out every time something bad happens because I'm so OCD about stuff and I'm a perfectionist. And if something goes wrong, I just lose my shit because I don't know how to like fix it immediately. The last couple months, my car, every time I turn on the ignition, it won't, the engine won't turn over. It takes like me turning it on twice before I can get it to turn over. So I figured, it's probably the battery. Well, my car is 10 years old. So while I'm driving, I can be going 75 miles an hour down the interstate, and suddenly all of the interior lights pop on, and on my dash, it will tell me that there's a door open, right? And at first I start freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, 75 miles an hour, there's a door open? What? And then come to find out that wasn't the case. It's just it's the sensors that are faulty or dying because they're old. So, so what was it, Tuesday night, I think it was? I came back and let me use this disclaimer. I am a cannabis patient, so card carrying. So I was in my car and decided to medicate, put a couple of bowls together so I could bring things down so I could relax and sleep that night. So I was doing it in my car. Car is off, everything. I'm parked. I'm at the house, safe where I should be safe. And, I turned all the lights off, and the only thing I would turn on was the dome light, the driver's side dome lights, just while I was packing my bowl. And at any rate, all the lights were off, and so I didn't even go back to check because I'll turn on the overhead dome light, then turn it off, turn it on and off. Well, as I got out of the car, I don't remember any lights coming on or anything, so anyhow, so I didn't think anything of it. And again, like I'm totally OCD about stuff. So this had nothing to do with the cannabis. Let me just point that out right here, right now. But Wednesday I was getting up. I was supposed to go to work, and I get in my car and nothing happens. When I turn the ignition, I'm like, oh, motherfucker, it's got to be the battery. Well, I happened to look up, and I had the driver's side dome light button was depressed. It was in. And I was like, oh, shit. No wonder. And instead, before I would lose my mind, I would have a meltdown. I would be so angry with myself and get so upset because... and blame myself because I forgot to do something, or I didn't check something correctly, or in this case, it's it's the sensors and everything that are faulty. But instead of freaking out, I calmly reached out to my colleagues, let them know I wasn't able to make it in, and the fact that I knew I had at least one or two friends who were understanding and helpful and would be able to help me get this problem solved made all the difference in the world. So yesterday a friend came over, and a new friend, and he helped jump my car to make sure it was the battery and not something worse. So far the battery, it seems to be the battery, seems to be working. In fact, I got to drive in a little while, so hopefully, fingers crossed, the battery will start no problem. So at any rate, I that's another thing I've learned. That's something I'm working on, and some progress I made was not to get upset over something that could be, that could be fixed, something that's not necessarily my fault or within my control, whether it is or not. I've always just taken responsibility for it and blamed myself. And so in this time, I didn't do that. I just, I was able to trust, and rely on a friend to come by and be supportive and help. And it was more than one friend. There was a couple of them, which I'm, eternally grateful for. So that's something I've learned, and that's something I'm still working on, but something that got better. So it was something to celebrate this week. The last few days was that I did not have a meltdown. Yay! And I'm becoming more comfortable with being imperfect and with with realizing that any flaws or of a mistake or anything that happens that isn't perfect, it's not due to me. It's not, it's not within my control always. And, I'm finding more and more that like very little is within my control. And even though I feel responsible for something, it's not my responsibility, and it's not me. It's not my my job to beat myself up and feel responsible for something that, when shit just happens, because that's the way it is. So that's part of what this webcast is about, is learning how to be that way and be okay with those things. So moving on to my idiotic thing, but it was funny. All right, so that's why I wanted to tell the story, because it had a purpose, but it was funny at the same time. So it helps me with a lot of different things in my life. So something else I wanted to add with my webcast now, as they're developing, I want to recall or celebrate some accomplishments I have, or things that I've thought of. Things, a lot of them I've forgotten about, because there's so much negativity in my head, and so much gaslighting, and just again, the cycle of abuse and neglect and all that stuff that I've lived my whole life. And it's the good things about me are never there. I never stop to think about them. I never, remember them or anything. So now what I'm going to start doing, and I would love for you to do it as well, is to come up with some, to celebrate an accomplishment, whether it's one from the past or it's one, that just currently happened. So what I wanted to discuss was my accomplishments and successes as a published writer. I went to college for performing arts, as well as mass comm, media, journalism, and all that. My journalism professor immediately saw something in me. Within the first semester, she had me writing for the school newspaper. After that, she helped me get a job at Creative Loafing, which is I don't want to call it alternative, but it's an alternative magazine. It's really cool. It's, it has stuff to do in Tampa. It's about a lot of, just alternative things, artistic stuff and all of that. So I started writing for them, making money, and for Creative Loafing. And from there, I went on to write for Jam Music Magazine. I don't know if they're still around anymore, so I apologize. But Jam Music Magazine, I started writing for them, and as a musician, it was really cool, because I got to go see all of these, local bands, and I would write about them, interview them, and all that cool stuff. And then from there, a few years later, I started writing for a tour of Tampa Bay, I think it was called, but it was like a thick book of things to do in Tampa, and it was mostly for tourists. So that's something I've recently recalled, was that, something positive about myself was that I am a published writer many times over. And it's, again, because of all the negativity and all the bullshit in my head that's always there, the traumas, everything, the anxiety, all that stuff, there's no room for the positives. And I'm working to change that by celebrating a success or accomplishment, during the webcast. So anyway, so that leads me to music, where I started writing a lot as a kid. I started journaling, and this right here is one of the many, many, many books I have of lyrics. So I was looking through it a little bit earlier while I was waiting for another video to upload, and I started going through it. And I've had this for a couple of decades, and so I started going through it. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm a good writer. Holy shit, that's some wisdom there. There's some poignant, things in that. And I was so proud of myself. And it just helped me recall that, yeah, I'm an excellent writer. I've been published. And to go on from there, I have a couple of books in the making that I'm still working on. I'm not a person, once I start something, I need to finish it. But I also realize that there are times where I don't have the tools or the resources to finish things for whatever reason. I have to put them on the back burner. So I have a couple of books that I've started writing a few years ago that I want to finish and get finished as soon as possible. But that being said, I don't have, my laptop died, my hard drive went, so hopefully everything's backed up somewhere, because I'm like really paranoid, so I back things up over and over again, which is probably why I never have any room on the cloud or anything. So I'm hoping once I get a new computer that I can get back and I can finish writing these books. So anyways, that was that was something I just wanted to discuss and bring up. It was a positive. It's an accomplishment, something I'm still working on. So so something to feel good about myself with, to remind myself, yes, I can do this, and I'm going to keep writing, and I'm going to get these books done. So with that being said, while I was waiting for the last video to upload, took me about 15 minutes to write this new song out. Okay, just to be clear, the Wi-Fi over here sucks shit, and it's storming, so it takes like literally 2 hours or longer to upload a freaking webcast that's like 15-20 minutes long. I know it's fucking ridiculous. But anyways, I was working on this, and I came up with it in about 15 minutes, and I've just been kind of going through it, so I'd like to play it now, and hopefully, it doesn't matter. Again, this is not about me being perfect. This is not about, not making mistakes. It's about being okay if I do make a mistake, because most likely nobody will ever know except me. And just being able to do things off the cuff and being comfortable with it. So, still working title, but here we go. That's that. So obviously, there's going to be multiple verses and all that good stuff. But anyways, I just wanted to play the outline for you. Like I said, it took me about 15 minutes to, to develop that. Clearly, I need a little bit more time to just, just to solidify it, to make sure it's arranged appropriately and all of that, and then add the lyrics and stuff. So anyhow, that's that. I also, this webcast is about connecting, especially during this time of the pandemic where everyone's, the social isolation and all that, and distancing. So I want to connect with you. And if you want to connect with me, I would love it. This way we can have that, exchange of energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be live. If you don't feel up to it, you can PM me. You can you can share, download, follow, etc. If you do all of that, that would be cool, because this way we can create this chain of people, a society or a network of people where we're all connected. And it starts with you, and it starts with me, and then we, share and share and share and get more people involved. And before you know it, we have this really killer network of people who are able to connect and talk. Anything you want to discuss, I want to have guests on this live. So if you'd like to be a guest, PM me, let me know, give me your contact info, or let's talk about, what you'd like to talk about. I want to, if there are topics you'd like me to discuss, cool, let me know. Or if there's some kind of music you'd like me to play or something you want me to work on, I'm happy to do that. Or, if you have any sort of comments or, feedback or whatever, I really appreciate it. I just ask, please be kind, because I despite all of this, despite everything I'm talking about, I'm still struggling a lot, and it's my confidence level is still kind of precarious. I'm working on it. It's getting better. I mean, just within a week, it's been tremendous. So a tremendous. I'm moving upward and onward, so I appreciate that. But moreover, this webcast is not just about me; it's about you, and things you'd like to discuss, things you'd like to learn about, things whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Something you want to connect over. Do you have dreams? You have things that you want to you're looking for some guidance for. If I can't provide that, then I probably know somebody who can. So just reach out, and that way we can kind of we can grow this together. So thank you again, everybody, for for your patience and for following, for liking, sharing, downloading, all that good stuff. And I really appreciate it. You can find me on YouTube. I'm still trying to get everything caught up so I can push out to all the other broadcasting, webcasting platforms. So I'll be doing that. And as my webcast develops here, it's going to be more succinct and more concise. Again, my whole purpose of doing out of your comfort zone this way is to get rid of the rules, all of the process, the foundation, and the parameters. All that stuff is subconsciously in my head, but that's to be professional and to be perfect. And that's not what this is about. This is about out of your comfort zone. Is about me doing things as I feel them, and while incorporating those subconscious rules and stuff that I already have in my head that I know to do. So I appreciate your patience while it grows, and I learned to stop rambling because, again, yay, look at all of the notes. Yeah, so I'm writing everything out, so that's helping me a little bit more. And I guess that's it. And once again, I just want to leave you with some knowledge, some positive feedback, some positive words. And again, it's Confucius. Our greatest glory is never falling, but in rising every time we fall. So you don't let the haters, don't let negativity or self-doubt or fear keep you from doing from being your authentic self, and from doing what you want to do or what you need to do, or whatever has been put on your heart to do or to say or to try. Do it, because it's there for a reason. And whether it's going after a dream and it may seem impossible, it's not. If you feel it, it's there for a reason. You're supposed to do it. You're supposed to be on that path. You have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose. Whether you've discovered it or not, you have to explore that. And that's what I want to help accomplish with out of your comfort zone here is working together to find what our purpose is, what our paths are, and hopefully they keep crossing. So keep at it. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to share with me, or let me share with you and connect with you. And the last thing I will leave you with is my personal quote is, will is everything. Sometimes you can't find your will, sometimes it's buried, but if you want something bad enough, you just will it to happen. It doesn't always happen overnight. It takes years. It can take whatever. Why do I feel like I have a purple mustache from my hair? Okay, anyways, didn't mean to digress. But will is everything. So remember that. So until later on, I don't know if I'll be back on tonight or tomorrow or whatever, but peace, metal, bitches. And I love you, and thank you so much for your attention and your time and your support, because I really appreciate it. All right, guys. All right, metal out, metal bitches, and I shall talk to you soon. Don't forget, like, follow, whatever else it is. Like, follow, share. I can't remember all this crap. Anyways, you know how to do social media. All right, talk to you later. Bye.